and welcome to Here Be Dragons. Except, where are the dragons? Instead, tonight, welcome to Here Be Dragonborn. But, really, it's Here Be Dragons, for they remain dragons at heart. Hi, my name is Philip, I'm the Dragon Master, and surrounding me are the poor unfortunate souls who've gotten wrapped up in my orbit and constantly tortured by me when I run these games. Wail in agony, poor tormented souls who've gotten caught in my orbit.
Oh,
no! It's pretty good because I didn't tell them to do that ahead of time, so they just like that was good improv. Guys, you know what the point of improv is? It's something called yes and.
I think explaining it also is a good idea.
I was just watching. I'm starting tonight off with a plug of a TV show I'm watching. There's a show called Dollface. It's on Hulu. I don't know if anybody's familiar with it or seen it, but in the new season of Dollface, there was this joke where, like, she's imagining an improv scene in her head where every single member of the improv troupe says yes and before every line they say, which I thought was brilliant. But then they start saying things like, someone's like, oh my god, I'm having a heart attack. And somebody else walks over and goes, yes and no you're not, you're having a stroke. What are we talking about? Oh yeah.
Oh, this is where I've been seeing that clip. This must be the show I've been seeing the clip from, where he says, like, where she's standing in a schoolroom and a guy says, like, you're dirty, like, you're a bad girl. And she's like, this is getting a little male gazy for you. He's like, well, then I'm a bad girl.
Oh.
Maybe it's that? Is it with
Kat Dennings?
Then it must be that.
It has to be that.
That might be from the first season even. In any case, welcome to our game tonight. We're so excited. I think we may have more players at some point tonight, but this is who is here now, and we're kind of going to be flying away. Not flying anymore, they're not dragons. We're going to be jumping into it.
Trudging through it.
Trudging through the sand. But before we jump into the game, got a few things to sort of talk over beyond just what TV shows I'm watching now. Check out Severance on Apple Plus. I was kind of intrigued by that as well.
Severance?
I liked the first episode. Pretty crazy. Severance.
Adam Scott, sign me up.
Adam Scott, John Turturro, Christopher Walken. First thing we got to do is open up the Dragon Calendar, which is appropriate for this game. All of my other teasing notwithstanding. We're opening door number 8, so you will see this before I do. Every time I open one of these, I say that as if it's an interesting thing.
Yeah, I think that's an 8.
It is a D8, a dragon face D8, in fact. Ooh, makeup YouTuber trick where you go like this with your hand for focus. Why isn't it working? I'm angry. There you go.
Got it.
It's a dragon face.
Cool.
I'm gonna tell you, we've really been starting to get all these like fiery dragon face ones so far, and it's very exciting. So
might lead to a spoiler that we're going to be dealing with a ancient red dragon here.
Well, an ancient red dragon would be a not bad situation for you guys on account of 3 of the 5 of you are fire people. Spoiler alert, it's not a red dragon.
It's not going to be a red dragon.
I also want to thank, from our previous streams, I want to thank God Mode for raiding us. I'm also going to say there was a manual raid into our stream on Friday, and I do not remember the name of the channel. They identified themselves there. I don't have that in my records, so thanks to whoever did that as well. And apparently a manual raid is when everyone just goes to a channel rather than it's sent through the thing. I guess that's what that means. But thanks so much for doing that. I want to thank Brinninger and an anonymous gifter for gifting a bunch of subs to us in our last game as well. That was so kind. I also want to make a super exciting announcement on stream, which is that our Kickstarter for Long Lost Noir has funded. Ooh, so it's happening now, and now I'm like, oh boy. So I gotta put all this together. Okay, cool. So that's exciting.
Which means now, if you were on the fence, now you'll definitely get it.
You'll definitely get it.
And everything you add now just adds to the amount of art.
Like literally, it is every single donation that, or every single pledge. It's not donation. You're just buying a book at this point. Every single pledge that comes through is basically just like either like upgrading one kind of art for like a bigger art piece or an additional magic item. You know, it's like the math on it will remain fungible until we get our final thing. So just, yeah, the more we have, the more cool stuff, the more full the book will be of fantastic, noir-inspired fantasy artwork, like everything above my head. And it's super cool and fun. And I'm very excited about it to share stuff with you. I will also mention I had a multi-hour Zoom yesterday with a KJ where we made all of the toon feats. And there's a lot of them, and if you independently of this noir stuff, if you ever wanted to play a cartoon in a game, we are also providing a way to do that in a very film noir Roger Rabbit like way, but also just independently.
How about the other feats? Yeah.
What's that?
Will there be other feats too?
There will be some other feats. There will not be as many. I'm not going to get into that now. The toons have a lot of feats that are like only for like the toon characters, and it's actually a way you can kind of like have variety. Like there's a variant toon where you basically just get to pick one of those feats rather than so you can have really specific kinds of different cartoons. There are some other feats, not as many, and things that are almost like feats, like other like character options you could put on. So there's a lot of fun stuff in there. We're really excited about it. So it is funded, super exciting, a really cool thing. All right, at this point, I guess we will sort of mention, really all you need to know is that I just suck. I'm a bad person, a bad friend, a bad game manager is what I'm about to say. I manage these games
suboptimally. You manage them suboptimally.
I mean, they're optimally for me and the story, but yeah, not for interpersonal relationships. So in our last session, our dragons continued having problems with Emniel, the most hated Aasimar rogue of all time. A villain who I think will probably not live to see the end of this campaign, because I think you guys will move heaven and earth to take her out. Emniel managed to provoke you. In a way that I think has revealed that Emniel can warp reality to her whims in a pretty powerful, problematic, but specific and as yet not quite perfectly understood way. And she took back the ring that she had given you in exchange for for safe passage, and thus was able to escape into the Dreadlands, a place she said she'd gone before. Tongart understandably sort of chased after her. He got a little too close and disappeared into those mists, which serve as a one-way barrier. The other dragons understandably felt no choice. Shishu went directly in after him. Elon, I know you were not even present for this, Andrew, but kind of we figured Elon would go in immediately if Shishu
no,
did.
that's, yeah, I mean, it's like if I could count on the number of claws, the number of times when I've had to go in and rescue Shishu when she's done something stupid, I just don't have enough digits.
I really want someone to do a joke of that where they're like, if I could count, if I had to count on a hand how many times that's happened, it would be this many times.
Yeah.
Just to hold up a very reasonable number with in any case, yes. So
twice.
Elon,
it's twice. It's been twice,
but I don't have the digits. So the dragons went into the Dreadlands, and Tongart's theories that things couldn't be that bad as they've been always trapped and up against godlike powers, it was proven to be a little worse here than in other places. For two reasons. First of all, with XigXag's powerful scent confirming it, it appeared that their quarry has not even wound up in this domain of dread. But the domain of dread they have wound up in is one of a barren desert with many pyramids in the distance, in which the dragons' bodies were transformed into humanoid dragons, dragonborn, in a way that was quite disorienting for all of them, except for Lord Buku, who now looks fantastic in the eyes of Shishu Buteros. He's really comfortable in his skin now.
His scales. In his scales.
In his scales. Very good point. Amusingly, it was also that pair. Perhaps Shishu just cut. Perhaps it was Lord Buku's like, oh yeah, this feels pretty good, and perhaps it was Shishu kind of finding that energy as well. The two of them seemed, if not happy about their predicament, immediately able to find the bright side, which is, look at that city of gold, look at these gold-plated pyramids all around us. I'll bet we can make a bunch of money now. Tongart seemed a bit down, and despite Shishu and Lord Buku trying to cheer him up, it did not seem to sort of get him back to his normal, optimistic self. XigXag. Oh, also, nothing to worry about. XigXag saw sort of flying shapes overhead. The dragon saw in the distance that it seemed that there were many dragonborn slaves building another pyramid. And they got the impression that perhaps they are not at the top of the food chain here by any means. There were things in flight kind of overseeing this, and with that, XigXag said we need to hide. Shishu said this as well. You all kind of just ran, kind of skirting the edge, keeping this mist to your back, and you have hidden, and that is where we ended our last session. So, two things. First, current hoard. 25,631 platinum pieces. You are 89,370 away from level 7. Number 2, and apologies to those who watch many streams on this channel, but I'm going the classic way, so if any of these are repeated, apologies to me, but we will now read tonight's invocation.
Oh no! Oh no!
And in my heart of hearts, the invocations. I've changed invocations in Blood from a Stone based on the domain for very specific in-game reasons, but in my heart of hearts, they're always paradise. So, together we can take it to the end of the line. Your love is like a shadow on me all of the time. I don't know what to do when I'm always in the dark. We're living in a powder keg and giving off sparks.
This makes me realize just how much trauma Blood from a Stone.
Just hearing me read a little quote at the beginning just is like, oh right, this is bad. Domains of Dread. So that means I've got Noir on 2 nights a week. I've got Dread on 2 nights a week. I've got Cruelty 4 nights a week.
Dreadful. You are dreadful.
That is the idea. They named it after me. So, my dragons. You are considering your options. I am going to say, sort of Shishu and Lord Buku, are like, Shishu's like looking at Lord Buku weird, so that's why she's quiet. Lord Buku is just, I don't know.
Oh no.
Lord Buku is trying on some different clothing options because he looks, like really kind of interesting now. So, what are you all doing? Yes.
Quick question, actually.
Absolutely.
Are there Dragonborn in Wyrmloth?
What an interesting question. The answer to that is that not really. The Dragonborn race does not exist as a prominent race in Wyrmloth. And typically most humanoid dragons you see are going to be half dragons, who are considered like pretty, like, it's odd that a dragon ever mated with a humanoid or what have you. So a lot of people just kind of already think strangely of them. The reason, however, that the sight of them or the concept of them is not that crazy is that many spell-casting dragons who gain the ability to have a humanoid form want to retain some degree of not being a hideous skinned or furred thing. So often dragons will adopt the form of a dragonborn, which is a species known to you to exist, but it is not one that has a like typically if you see Dragonborn, it is some dragon who for whatever reason has shape changed into a humanoid, but wanted to retain some style.
Makes sense.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're just sort of in the dunes, right?
That is actually a good point. I think we did say it was daytime when you arrived, but I will roll for that. Yes, it is the day. Now, the day here is incredibly hazy, and the sky overhead has a purplish kind of cloudy haze, not dissimilar to the wall of mist that you have passed through. That being said, there is a baking hot sun. The light is kind of diffuse, so for filming purposes, this is like the best place in the world because it's just nothing but bright, diffuse sunlight. It is really hot though. But you do not see the sun, but you sort of feel it. It is like you're in an oven. Again, for 3 out of the 5 of these dragons, this is a good place to be. Nice and toasty.
Wait until dark.
We're not being chased by anything right now, is that right?
You're not being chased. You were going to be, and instead people rolled very high early on and thought to do it, so you guys have gotten out of where you would be spotted overhead. Yes, so basically, XigXag, if you're suggesting we wait until dark, that is certainly something you can do.
I mean,
we're just in dunes right now, right?
You are in dunes. There is, however, I think I might have said this or said I was about to do it the last time. There are numerous pyramids spread out all around this gold city that you see, which is probably it's a few miles away, but at this, you can see you've got pretty good visibility. There are pyramids both between you and it, like you can see in the distance beyond it, pyramids spread out in all directions, almost haphazard. You are where you are now. There is the nearest pyramid is maybe a couple miles that way and a quarter mile closer to the city. So kind of you'd be going a little closer to the city and a little bit, but mainly over. XigXag, with your perception, you also notice in the far distance beyond that pyramid, you seem to see some ruins.
So, and what is the opposite direction? Is there just an open desert, sand and stuff?
I have a terrible little drawing of this. Hold on, that I gave. I'm not showing this, but I can't.
And we've seen that there are some laborers, right, working on these pyramids.
Yes, on the nearest pyramid that you can see. Not that I should rephrase that. It's the closest pyramid to you does not seem to be laborers, but there's a pyramid that is the closest one that's directly in line with the city ahead of you. You see people, and that's a couple miles away. But with your dragon eyes and kind of a bit of height, you definitely see lots of bodies moving around, and they seem to be dragonborns based on XigXag having absurd passive perception. And
have we seen who the innovator behind this is?
You did see that in the center. You do see that in the center of the city there appears to be a statue of a dragon. At this range, you have not made. I mean, it's a colossal statue. So at this range, you can tell it's a dragon. You have no details on it.
Right.
It does appear.
You said something about a scarab.
Yes, I guess that if I did say that, then yes, you have seen that it is a something about the dragon seems almost beetle-like. Though it is cast fully in gold, which might appeal to you and Shishu, yes. XigXag, in answer to your question, so from where you are, in that one, the closest kind of pyramid to you is a couple miles that way, a little further in. Beyond that, there are ruins. Then there's a pyramid being built kind of a couple miles ahead of you. And then there's many pyramids kind of in that area. Sort of if you look in the opposite direction of where the closest one and ruins are, you see 3 other pyramids spread out. One of them is incredibly distant. I'll say you can see it in the distance. The others would not really be able to make that out from kind of, shimmering. The pyramids all do have slightly different As far as you can tell, different like decor on them. Sometimes there's a different color featured either in paint or you'd have to get a little closer to see. They all seem to be covered in gold, but some of them seem to maybe have like big red stripes or some kind of red or green or different designs on them. But you'd have to get closer to really distinguish between them.
But there is color in this world.
There is color in this world, yes. What? Why? Why wouldn't there be?
I don't know. I have no idea.
There's always
It's
color.
occurred to me.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you cannot.
Oh.
Yeah, color. It's not possible to be without color.
Shishu, do you dream? Or I'm sorry, XigXag. Do you dream in black and white?
No, what is black and white?
What is black and white? I mean,
I think my mind just broke.
So I think this will turn out just fine. I have an idea. What we need to do, we find the rebels, we lead them to victory against the tyrant, and we'll be worshipped as heroes and showered with treasure. I mean, it's obvious.
I mean, I
read books. That's how it happens.
I don't know.
Do you ever read?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I don't know though. Like, I feel like the people that are working here, they're pretty lucky to have a job. And if they don't like it, they could probably just find a different job.
No.
Yeah.
Well,
Because I feel like what's going
Okay,
on here is
okay.
just like
No, please keep going.
I mean, I feel like I feel like this scarab dragon is really taking a risk in building these pyramids, and
And he should get a tax break, right?
yeah, I mean, I feel like
I doubt he's taxed at all here.
big
Yeah,
steps.
probably not. Yeah. Okay. Back to my plan. We go and find the rebels.
Actually, before that,
I'm the worst.
something that could happen in Blood from a Stone and has never happened in 38 sessions or 37 sessions.
What will happen now?
Elon,
God.
you are saying all of this, right? Elon is saying all of this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh
no.
Elon,
What did you do?
feel a
I don't like
chill.
that.
Tongart does not notice this. The DC to observe this is 20. XigXag. You notice that there is a very faint, very thin cloud of the purple mist that has sort of wafted over Elon. It's cold, but not necessarily unpleasant. XigXag, you sort of see it passing on him, perhaps as he kind of shivers or shudders. Elon, you have a distinct impression. Elon, are you proficient in insight?
I believe I am. 1 second, let me just check.
Perfect.
Oh wait, you know what? Nope, I'm not. Nope.
Okay, understood.
Nope.
Then
I mean,
Elon,
isn't that pretty obvious?
that really should be, in fact, yeah. The billionaires tend not to have good insight. So Elon, you have no sense of what's happening. It just feels kind of cold, but not necessarily unpleasant. You have there's this sickly sweet smell with kind of a coppery aftertaste. It's not unlike the mist you just flew through, but you figure maybe you just are catching some of them on the wind. And in your mind, not as a conscious thought, not as a voice, you simply have a sense of intrigue, I guess. There's something is like, I don't know. You feel like you were just saying good stuff. I guess I'll phrase it to you. If you don't have insight, maybe we'll put it that way. XigXag, you do notice this cloud has just kind of gone over his now bipedal body.
And just staying there?
It is hovering around him. Yes, it is not moving past him. It is kind of almost in his face. He can't even really see it. He has a bit of a chill, a bit of a tickle.
Can I try to like shoot it? You know, like wave it away?
Sure. Yeah, make I guess a sleight of hand check. That's funny.
Okay. Oh, dice. I need dice.
Like a sleight of hand attack.
Sleight of hand
Slide
attack.
of claw.
Are you just using your hands, or you?
I tried to use something. What would be available for me?
I mean, you guys have so many things. You have a problematic amount of stuff, honestly, because now you're not all huge creatures who can carry it, or large creatures. It's you got a lot of, you're dragging a lot of stuff through the sand here.
Do I have anything like a cloak or a piece of blanket or something that I could just,
Yeah,
like,
sure. You
roll
can
like
grab
this with? Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the magic items that you guys have actually attained. Shishu has put her cloak on now, understandably. You could, you know what? You could take the breastplate from the demon armor and just swing it like that. And as you do so, Franklin in his cage is just like. But yes, you can do that. So go ahead and actually, in that case, it could be an athletics check if you'd prefer.
Oh, okay. Yes, I prefer.
Go ahead. Then you're putting some muscle into trying to dispel this.
That is a 20.
A 20. With a 20, something strange happens, XigXag. I'm actually going to ask you to roll a perception check on this to sort of see what you actually notice as this happens, to see how specifically you see it.
Me or Elan?
XigXag. You.
Oh, okay.
Elan has not even noticed it at all.
Oh, God, that's bad. 16.
With a 16, you just kind of, you whip it away, and it eventually seems to have dissipated. Tongart, if you were watching this, I'll actually let you throw a perception on as well.
Okay.
Elon, I think you're
But
distracted
he
by
cannot roll
your cool
well.
thoughts.
Pretty good. Perception. 27.
Ooh,
DC for this was 25.
that's nice.
So cool. Tongart, kind of noticing her doing this, like you then begin to see that there is this mist around her, and you're like, how odd. But she wafts hard to get the mist away. And the mist moves in response to this slightly, but really clings to Elan. And then you swear it seems like the mist almost like
Continue to him.
turns back towards XigXag for like a split second. It seems very perceptive and probing, as if it was looking at Elan, noticing someone trying to do something, and then it moves away as if it was blown. To XigXag's eyes, she just blew it away, but you saw something in the mist. Maybe it was just random swirls, but you really think you saw some intent. You saw some kind of that the mist was here and then went away. Yeah.
Right. You know, I know that we can just stay here. I don't know if there are
Well,
rebels here.
Let's
We
stay
probably need
until
to-
dark, and then maybe go to those ruins over there.
That seems like an alright course of
It's a
action.
landscape feature. Maybe there is something there, right?
Let's hope. For at least
Can we
somewhere where
dig
we can.
ourselves into the sand?
I will say just no
Or
rolls
hiding.
required. Actually, go ahead and make a survival check. Yes, but I would say you're gonna have some is this bivouacking?
23.
I think this whatever this is. I'm gonna look up if this is bivouacking. I think it is. Yeah, it's
Basically, just
temporary camp without like tents and stuff. Yeah, you are bivouacking into the sand. You're not necessarily digging yourself into the sand, but you guys have really made your profile almost unseeable. And in fact, I will say that if you were going to sort of do that, I want you, XigXag, to roll me 2d12, and you can tell me the lower number. No, I take that back. Roll 2d20, tell me the lower number. Oh, also, you know what, guys? Because Pierce will be effective, but he's fine. Guys, if anybody rolls a natural 13, then I just go ahead and tell me. Don't worry, it's fine. It's not on you. It's not on you. It's not on you.
This is gonna affect us on Fridays.
It's not on you. Just if you, there's no dread clock here, but Papa's got to increase this thing. So just a 4. 4 was the lower. Then, because of how well you did this, I gave you basically like disadvantage in a good way on an encounter roll. So that being said, XigXag, would you actually just roll me a d12? We'll sort of see what didn't happen.
6.
All right. Ooh, that's fun. All right. Okay, I'll tell you what. We will say, from where you are, as the day goes on, you notice a hawk that has been circling slightly. You have seen no larger winged creatures, but there is a hawk. A hawk lands about like a quarter mile from where you are, perfectly in vision for most of you, rather perceptive dragons. The hawk seems to be like looking for some prey, and it even kind of swoops down, goes back over, but it eventually sort of lands and begins pecking at something. Suddenly, the sand shifts around it, and you see this massive, armored, it almost for a second looks like a snake, just kind of comes up and stabs into the hawk. The hawk then tumbles down the sand, and one of the dunes basically shifts as a scorpion the size of a horse, or the size of the dragons you used to be, basically crawls out of the sand, eats, kind of gathers this hawk up, and then kind of crawls away and eventually seems to be buried under the sand again. So
That is spooky.
It's not a great place. I mean, I know that, like, that kind of seemed obvious as we were kind of warned not to come here and got sucked in, and now we're kind of in this shape. But, like, the bad things here just sort of keep stacking up.
Yeah, I agree.
Well,
glad
maybe
we didn't
that
find one of
scorpion
those.
is good eating.
Maybe.
I think we might be good eating to that thing.
We're
Even
That
if
might be too.
we're so small.
Yeah.
Yeah. I now know what it feels like to be Lord Buku. I feel diminished.
Oh, what feels like? I'm sure you don't know how wonderful it is to be me, but I'm glad you're almost having the experience. And she's like, my followers would be. Yeah, oh my god, maybe we should just bring it back. We should just get some pictures of the two of us, right? Like we just kind of look like really. I've never noticed how good we look together.
There's an oasis over there. There's an oasis over there. You don't need. Yeah.
Oh, here. Okay, then Lord Buku, here. Let's stand so that's behind us.
Oh, I have a very important question. Do I have a very big nose?
I will say, you're asking because you can smell all creatures within 1,000 feet. I will say no, your nose is not like oversized by any means. I guess I also should have mentioned that you do scent numerous beasts around and some undead. I think I mentioned undead and humanoids. You wouldn't have been within 1,000 feet of any humanoids. Beasts and a few like undead, like on the edges of things. Beast is not unexpected out in the wilderness, of course. But when you saw that scorpion, that definitely smelled beast-like. But in answer to the current question, no, you do not have a particularly large nose to explain your insane smelling ability.
Just huge nostrils.
Yeah, like flaring nostrils.
Just like the whole face is just yeah.
Well, I guess we wait until night, and then we start going.
And I will say because of the sort of good bivouacking you did with a 23 and the sort of intent of this, the day passes without much more incident other than kind of the scorpion at the distance. That being said, you know, you're capable of waiting. You're capable of, you know, picking your moments, traveling, but you're not really getting any It's not that you're not resting. Like, and if anybody gains any benefit from a short rest, you may certainly have that here. It's more that this is not a comfortable place. It's very hot. So XigXag and Lord Buku, I mean, you've bivouacked successfully. You think that if you were just like, XigXag, this probably won't be a problem for you for your survival, but like, if Lord Buku were just out alone in this heat, he might like start having to make exhaustion checks eventually. The more fire-based dragons, they're not as bad shape. That being said, XigXag, you think you need to find water. Like as a thing, you're gonna need to figure out how to get water. Yes, I don't know that you can smell water, but that would be just a survival check. Would be like trying to figure out where the nearest.
But at dark, it should get cold since it's a desert.
At dark, it will. Yes, it will be. It might get. The fire dragons might be uncomfortably cold in the nighttime and feel great during the day here. But
this is like the only time I've ever needed to know the cleric spell: create or destroy water. If you have that spell, I don't.
There's no reason you would have picked that as one that you knew.
Yeah.
Oh, this is why you were like, so I'm a cleric now? I can like prepare spells? Sadly, no. But wow, that is funny. This is the time for it. It's more, however, that this place it's not just the heat. There's a presence. There's a sense of just things around you. You feel pretty covered. You don't feel like those things in the air have seen you, but you feel like you're not alone here. And in fact, we'll just do this as well. Tongard. At 30-40 minutes after the scorpion, you kind of glance at the sand next to you. It shifts slightly in the wind, and some of it almost like softly drops out from below. And it very distinctly forms a dragon's skull. Jaw open, just kind of staring back at you from these eyes that have just sunk into the sand. It could be natural, but it's so exactly distinct.
And it's not doing anything. It's just
just kind of.
I'm just gonna sort of reach over and scrape some sand down and rebury it.
As soon as you touch anywhere near it, it all just kind of collapses and heads off.
Or warm up. Not a great place.
You all have a feeling of being watched, of things being on your periphery. Go ahead, Town Guard. You may say what you're.
I was gonna look over and. So XigXag, when do you think we can head on over?
Well, around dusk, maybe? What do you think?
I'm not much of an infiltrator, but that seems like a good thing to me. I mean, flying in the sky was hard to see stuff, particularly around that time when the light is kind of changing, and my eyesight would have to be flicking back and forth between my normal sight and my dark vision. Kind of hard to spot things sometimes.
And you don't, XigXag, you think that won't be too long. Already it has gotten a little less bright. And in fact, actually from where you're bivouacked, you aren't really seeing the city or anything. But Elon, as you guys are just sitting there, in your periphery, you see a figure in the distance walking across the sand.
One of the rebels, maybe?
What does he look like?
How handsome is he?
Make a perception check.
Natural 20 for a 26.
You snap your head where it was, and you know there is nothing there with absolute certainty. I think you're a well-read enough individual. You're confident of I think you're familiar with the idea of like a mirage, like kind of like in heat waves. You know, maybe you think maybe it was something in a heat wave, and yet it didn't feel. You feel like you should still be seeing some heat wave for a second, but you are very confident there is nothing there now, and there's nothing like disturbing that area. So that was either a trick of the light or some illusory thing.
Tongar, I saw something. I saw something in the dunes over there.
Yeah, what
But
it look like?
Well, it looked like a person, but it's gone. It was sort of, I don't know if it was like one of those night hags or like just a trick of the light or what.
I mean, I'm not that experienced with the desert and all. That's more of sort of Lord Buku's home terrain. But I do want to understand that when we get dehydrated, we might start seeing stuff out here. So how you feeling? You feeling kind of thirsty? Maybe it's just something that just sort of like.
No, I feel strong. No. I mean, before we came in, I slammed a bunch of energy drinks, so I'm great.
I'm doing this new thing where I only drink 1 cup of water a day. It's the water that's actually slowing you down.
It's called intermittent drinking.
I mean,
intermittent drinking gets this new. You drink for 1 hour straight. Like you drink. You can continuously consume.
A lot of people die. But if you go.
Look, I don't mean to like sort of poke holes in all of this, man. You know, everyone should kind of like do what they're doing, but isn't all drinking intermittent?
Intermittent. Oh
That's not it goes. You only drink for like 6 hours a day, and then the rest of the day you don't drink.
Yeah, no, it's like, you know, you do like 30 minutes on.
30 minutes on, continuous drinking. It was invented at this fraternity. Get this, as a hazing practice. And then
there's a lot of health benefits, okay? It really reduces inflammation because you're dying, basically. You're basically dying all the time.
Basically what you do is you're constantly drowning yourself and then dehydrating yourself back, and it creates it's this amazing stasis.
Given yesterday, or I don't even know if it was yesterday, given 6 hours ago when I was almost drowned by some sort of sea god.
Oh, right.
Doesn't sound great to me, but you know, if it's working for you.
I just don't know. I feel like we need a plan.
I mean, I agree. I don't know. We don't know really the lay of the land here at all.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to plan when you know nothing.
I don't know. Lord Buku, do you have any ideas for a plan or anything? Oh, I mean, XigXag had an idea, and as leader, I think we should follow XigXag's great idea. I think it was a good one. I think I could certainly become the leader of a bunch of rebels, so yes, absolutely.
Let's see. It's a great plan. And I read many books, and it always happens like that.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, and I suppose if we can't find rebels already established, we could create them in sort of totalitarian regimes. Dissent is easy to sort of find,
Yeah.
I think.
Well, we probably should find somebody who's not.
I mean, yeah,
a
that's
slave and talk
I
to
really
them.
want to know a little bit more about the politics of this, because if this is like, if their personal liberties are being infringed upon, I feel like that's unacceptable. Like if there's, you know.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, do they want to be slaves, or was it, forced upon them?
well,
Right. I mean,
also,
I mean, if they they could just, you know.
Alon, I will
Probably
say
a reason
that
why he's the.
based off of the rules that we were sort of told about this place. Now, granted, I sort of said it was like every place we've been, but we are going to need to deal with whoever is in charge here, which I imagine is sort of the entity
Eventually.
enslaving people, right? So I don't exactly know what that means. It might mean we just need to get permission, you know, like we've done in the past. It might mean something more forceful than that. But I would say, given the place we are in and what I'm observing, this might be the exact scenario in which what we need is a disruptor.
Really?
Yeah.
So we need
I
someone
think
probably to shake up
Vanguard
this
is
system.
very wise, as always.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I'm getting it. Like, yeah, like the big, the big scarab has been just sort of sitting there on their haunches, and they're just like ripe for the picking. Like we just need to innovate. We just need to disrupt. That's a great idea. Yeah. Yeah. We could do, democratize the pyramid building, like give everyone their own little piece. I mean, they're kind of already doing it already. We just need, oh yeah.
Right, we need to like create some sort of like ownership for them, right?
Yeah,
Is that
like
what
we
you're
could,
saying?
like as they're building it, maybe perhaps they could scribe their names, into the things that they're building, like put it into like the block that they're like. I can't go on. I can't do
Well,
it.
what if?
Sorry,
Well,
I can't.
I'm not really. This is really more. You're the one who sort of comes up with this, right? But what if, like, we put someone? So we kind of have to disrupt the system, but then you're gonna need someone in charge, right? So like we put someone in charge that sort of gets to have ownership over a pyramid,
Well, but what
right?
if
And then they can instruct other people how to build that pyramid for themselves.
Bipeds all own the pyramid together like a co-op.
I mean, that
And they-
seems co-op seems a little. I mean, that's a little bit. That's. I
Why
mean,
not?
it's a little bit much. I mean, I think that you need. I mean, I like a flat management like hierarchy. I like that. I think that sounds great.
Well,
But
I mean,
wasn't
yeah.
this
So
what was that thing you're always saying, Elon? They definitely have to be independent contractors and not employees of the pyramid.
Yes. No. Absolutely. No. It doesn't make. It just doesn't make
It doesn't
sense.
make
otherwise.
sense.
Okay. So yeah, I think that makes sense. I think that we need to sort of start like. I mean, what do you think about these? Also, like the ruins sound really interesting to me too.
well, I think we need to start by going there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of maybe getting out of the cold.
And in fact, yes, it has now. The temperature has gotten down
Does
to
everyone-
like about 80 degrees, and now it's kind of feeling colder for heat-based dragons. And I think that XigXag, you believe that it is near the dusk hour.
Is that Fahrenheit or Celsius?
We'll say Fahrenheit.
Yeah,
Also,
I don't know what kind of
Celsius is
hellscape.
very
I
hot.
just want to do a little bit of check-in here. I just
Yeah,
want
of
to.
course.
Does anyone miss Lagok?
Yeah,
I
I could
do.
use some sort of. Yeah.
I really do. I really miss them.
Oh, so you guys. So yeah. I guess Alan, you were probably the last person near Lagok. You
Yeah.
seem okay before you took off.
I mean, kind of sad, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, physically.
Was he sad or was he exasperated?
Well, it's kind of like I feel like at this point the exasperation has turned to sadness.
Mhm.
I know the feeling.
Andrew, your hair keeps disappearing and it's so upsetting.
I know. I can't. I don't have a good background here.
Ah,
Well, at this point, XigXag, the light that kind of was coming from above has diffused almost entirely, and magic hour does still happen when it's overcast, but it's like much less pronounced, basically. So like the mist in the distance, kind of on the side, the mist ringing you, is darker, and you all still feel a little bit illuminated by the sky above, but you can tell that it is about to get darker.
Okay, let's go.
Wonderful. So it is your plan to try to lead them to the ruins.
Yes.
Wonderful. You are going to lead them to the ruins. Now you will pass. I guess my question is: do you want to pass close to the pyramid that is kind of in between the two, or do you want to go only over dunes, and kind of like really try the wild sort of thing. That will lead to a longer time, but you won't come near that pyramid for either you guys won't be able to see it, and also if anyone is at that pyramid, they cannot see you.
I prefer not to go near to the pyramid unless
Perfect.
the others insist.
It seems everyone's being.
I'll follow your lead, XigXag.
So XigXag, yes, you are the thing. So go ahead and make your survival check for leading
Oh,
them
good.
in
Do I
that
get?
direction.
No, I don't get.
This you get it on. Let's see what you would get it with. You won't have it. You are going to be able to lead them at twice a normal pace. So this will not take you very long. You have your
27.
27. Yeah. Okay. Hey, I'm gonna make a quick plug, even though XigXag was not. I'm just gonna say, guys, you know what every party really does need is a ranger. Rangers are it's so good to have a ranger. There are so many games where if you have a ranger, it just takes. It's like, oh, the traveling's hard. No, it's not. We're fine. Any case, XigXag with. Kind of like this is sort of the first time any of you are really like, walking an extreme distance on these legs. Doesn't really take you that long to adjust. In XigXag, it takes you maybe 10 minutes to kind of feel as comfortable on the ground as you do when you're sort of tracking in air. Obviously, you have a lot less perspective, but you're also able to, you can tell you can be so much more stealthy on the ground, You can lead them and tell everyone to walk in each other's feet.
Is it easier if we take our shoes off? Because we are wearing some sandals, I think.
You are wearing sandals, so actually it is easier with the sandals on. Yeah, you're wearing like sandals and kind of simple robes. I will also say, what does slow you is all the stuff you're carrying. Yeah. Nevertheless, I assume you're not like burying it in the sand or anything. You're not. You're keeping everything with you because by God.
I imagine we'll spread the armor out like we did before, where everyone's carrying like a piece of it.
You've got that. Obviously, Buku has that giant, battle standard he's carrying. There are a few bigger things, and just general treasure and bags and stuff. But it's basically you're all kind of like just at the edge of encumbrance. Not quite, but but you sort of so you drag these things.
We had that pocket dimension.
That would be a cool thing to get. Maybe you'll roll one for random treasure in here. There's nothing but pyramids. There's nothing but tombs to raid.
Tomb raiding, yes.
Yeah. So as you go across the sand, are you going at a full pace or are you going at a half pace to be stealthy, XigXag? Which for you would be a normal pace, basically.
Guys, do you guys want to safer or faster?
Safer.
I'm often for safer. Yeah.
All right then.
Perfect. So you guys travel slow between your encumbrance and you're trying to stay low. You occasionally see shapes passing in sort of glowing spots of cloud overhead. They don't appear to be dragons, but they appear to be winged and flying. You also notice many fires burning around many but not all of the pyramids. The one closest to you now has though you are avoiding getting like super close to it, you can see that the top of the pyramid is actually like illuminated in a sort of a bright fire. And the pyramid seems to have some like blue material on it that you can just barely spot in the distance. But you keep going. With a 27, you once again will have a disadvantage on an event happening. So let's have Andrew, if you could roll 2d20, tell me the lower number. This is not disadvantage. It's a get to pick the lower. It's a good thing.
2.
Then yes, once again, you were able to travel these few miles at a very cautious but still rather quick pace without attracting the attention of any of this desert's denizens. Even so, the sensation that you're being watched does not go away. And at times, all of you, especially with your very high perception, will hear like an extra crunch in the sand of a footstep. You'll hear a breeze that sounds like a breath being taken. Nothing any of you can really pinpoint or see, but there's a persistent sense of presence in this place.
Does that ring anything interesting to me as a follower of the furted breath? Does it feel like something reaching for me?
Why don't you make a religion or insight check?
All right.
Which one is it?
It's gonna be. Let's go with religion. Natural one, so that will be a 6.
You try to think of it. You almost like think you'll sort of like breathe in for a second to like. Perhaps I should breathe and kind of see what this feels like, and kind of like think of this. And as you breathe in, just a little like kind of like like sand, just dust thing gets in your bed. You just.
It's fine.
You need to put something over your mouth like this.
That might be a good call, XigXag.
Breathe through your nose holes.
So as you all, it is important to mask up. As you all carry on towards these ruins, the pyramid, like half a mile away, and a good number of dunes between you, and you're being careful not to be seen. It seems to be aflame. The city is lit up by fire. Even from this distance, you can see there's enough flame that there seems to be illumination here in the night. It's gold and shimmering, and it does seem a source of great wealth. But eventually, you carry on darker into the night. Every once in a while, you see a break in the thick mist overhead, and you can see stars. But they seem cold, uncaring, almost malevolent. Eventually, you kind of, with XigXag's very high roll, you have come to within about a quarter mile, or even less, an eighth of a mile or so. About, around maybe 1,000 feet from where these ruins are. A point, kind of, we'll say it is sort of the last point where you could maybe still be hiding on a small rock formation or a dune before you would sort of be easily seen by these ruins. And that's where I will once again check in with what you're doing.
What do you think?
Can we see anything, anyone moving or anything troublesome in the ruins from this distance?
Make a perception check, XigXag.
Ooh, natural 1 plus 11.
With a 12. You look out. The ruins seem, there is no light in these ruins. It appears to be a series of kind of like low buildings. Some of them have kind of colonnades outside of them. There are many columns that have been tilted. It looks like maybe some battle was here, or something sort of tore this place apart. With the perception and the fact that it is sort of dark even at this distance, you can't really tell, but it seems to be very silent and dead. XigXag.
All right, guys, you ready? Should we go in?
Yeah, I'm itching to not be out in the open.
Perfect. So, you begin heading down to this kind of, it seems like a compound of maybe 3 structures.
Yeah.
It was like a little encampment or something. I'll say actually no roll required, Tongart. Something feels maybe temple-like about this place. Maybe like almost like a religious spot of some kind.
Do I, feeling that, if I look around, do I see any scarab iconography?
It is so
reminiscent.
you can make a perception check. Actually, I should have had XigXag do this at disadvantage, but can't do worse than a 1. This is like dim light, and this is definitely beyond the range of any dark vision. So go ahead and do a perception at disadvantage. If you want to get closer, of course, you could do it easier, but yeah.
That'll be a 15.
You do not see any scarabs signs around here. With a 15, the only symbols that you see on some of the busted columns and slabs of stone are eyes.
Interesting.
Eyes of a sort of a hieroglyphic style, an insignia you're not really familiar with. It doesn't seem to be... Actually, I take that back. Go ahead and make a history check.
History? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
11.
Nothing you're familiar with.
Okay. Well then, all right. I'll just sort of say to the group as we're sort of here. Looks to me like this was maybe some sort of temple. I mean, clearly it's ruins now. I don't see anything that looks like anyone who's in charge now. So maybe this is a place that used to be worshipped before someone took over. You know, regimes take over, they kind of destroy the past. Sort of standard. But I think as long as we don't attract any attention, make ourselves known here, I doubt anyone will be coming here. Except maybe some rebels. But that would be ideal.
Yes, maybe.
Sounds good.
We'll find it.
So I guess we should just head on in.
Wonderful. So, you get closer to this area. Once you're about 100 feet from it, XigXag, something does catch your eye. This is amidst the ruins. None were intact at a point where you'd see them away. You see palm trees knocked over.
Knocked over?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Like broken under columns. They're almost completely desiccated at this point, but they are definitely palms.
Those leaves where they are down, but if trees ever grew here, there might be water.
Well,
Worth checking that.
yeah, agreed.
You get a little closer. You're about 100 feet from it now. There are 3 large buildings. One of them appears to be almost basically. So there's there's a building sort of off from the other 2. That one seems almost completely destroyed. Just literally just piles of like sandstone and rubble and such. And then there are these 2 other buildings that appear of somewhat similar shapes to one another. The one that is kind of directly ahead of you is a little smaller, and then the one to your left is a little bit larger. But they seem
Can
very
we
much
go
the
into
same.
commando mode? Like doing this,
Sure. I mean, yeah, you guys all want to be stealthy.
I don't know. It's just an idea. Just the descriptions made me think.
Sure. Yeah. You can certainly try to stealth this point.
Before we do that, I mean, I might as well give it a little bit of a shot here. I'm gonna go ahead and right before we attempt to move in, I'm just gonna cast Bless on the 3 of us.
It only lasts a minute, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like that's sort of important for us to try to.
I said it's 60
Yes,
feet. You're 100 feet. Okay, never mind. Perfect. So yes, you cast bless on everyone. On who?
Right. Yeah, like the three of us right before we move in.
At what distance from the area? Like you're at this point, you guys have been walking for like 900 feet, where you're, like if someone were in the stuff, they might be able to. You'd be theoretically in visual range. So you're 100 feet right now, where kind of we paused, and that's where XigXag first noticed stuff. Are you waiting a second before you do that? Are you doing it here? What is kind of the and XigXag? I know you said you kind of want to be stealthy at this point, so we can have everyone roll stealth checks as well.
Yeah. XigXag, I might be able to boost us a little bit just when we get closer. Just give me the go ahead, and I'll give us the boost.
Well, whenever you feel it's right.
Maybe then when we're within like 60 feet of it.
60
before
feet.
we come. Yeah.
So you guys go up a little bit further. Did I incept this? Did I say 60 feet out loud?
You might have.
Okay.
Well, I'll do 80. Given our walking speed's still 40, right? Or did that go down?
You're fine. Yeah, that's fine. Whatever. It should have gone down to 30, but it's fine.
I was just gonna do whatever double our movement was. I was gonna do so. If it's 60, it's 60. If it's 80, it's 80.
I think it's probably 60.
Okay, 60 feet.
Okay, fair enough. So you do a double walk speed. You guys everyone go ahead and make stealth checks. I will not have things ruined by members not here unless two of you fail, and then I can roll on their behalf hoping to save things.
That's
17.
Okay.
17. 14?
9.
9. Okay.
I think I'm going to be doing just fine to ruin it without them.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. You guys creep forward. It honestly even makes sense that you're doing, because you also are casting a spell. So like Tongard is like talking a little bit. Once you're about 60 feet away from kind of these buildings, Tongard he casts the bless, and Elon and XigXag, Tongard. Do you get one more person on that, or is it just 3 of you?
It's just 3 for
then
for
the
level
3 of
one.
you. The other 2 are kind of back making googly eyes at each other.
Oh wait, hold on.
Wait,
I didn't. Oh, were we blessed for that?
Yeah, yeah.
You were not blessed for that, no. And also
sorry.
that would have been
Then-
guidance, not blessed, yeah. As you guys approach...
Sorry, Phoenix. I misunderstood, and I did the thing I do with that spell all the time. 6, Philip, is my stealth roll.
Oh, you put a guidance on it?
Yeah. No, I misinterpreted like the bless and everything. The thing I do all the time.
Understood.
With bless.
So you guys creep up, and Tongard, as you cast your bless once you're on 60 feet, it's a sudden dim light. This stripe kind of along the building straight ahead of you, kind of like over the sort of kind of like, is it called a lintel? Is that like the top piece of like a stone entry? Kind of the lintel, just this like, and kind of like with kind of these different lines, this very soft, pure white glow, just. It was a range of 60 feet. I'm sorry. I still feel like I kind of incepted this. Whatever, it's fine. There is this... And now this courtyard is sort of like lit. It's not... I'm saying it's dim. It will count as kind of like bright enough light for your purposes. Or I think I am letting you keep dark vision, so it's bright enough. But there's this kind of lighting this courtyard area. And Tongard, you feel it was directly in response to magic.
Well, that's interesting. And it's either very good or very bad.
Yeah.
But it seems like it would directly responded to that spell just now. I don't know if that's a ward or a welcome.
Anybody is good at Arcana?
My guess is it's probably not welcome.
I will let Buku make a roll on that because he's Arcana proficient. Plus a trillion. He says, I think it probably is some sort of detection. more than a ward. It seems more just if magic is performed, it lets people know. And she says, that sounds right. I agree with that. That sounds really smart.
Oh.
Well, then maybe we ought to just wait here for a second and see if someone comes to investigate that before we...
Could we maybe spread out just a little bit?
You can.
Maybe.
You guys can. At this point, there's sort of you've certainly made a little bit of a ruckus. So these no one's stealth was absurdly high, but you guys will kind of back up slightly, just trying to not be too clustered. I will actually roll here. You hear some footsteps coming from not the building straight ahead, but the one to the side, and they're fairly like pounding. Very like heavy footfalls, and you hear a voice saying, "What the?" And kind of, I would say Tongart and Zig. Actually, Elon, what is your passive?
My passive perception.
Are you 16?
1 second.
It honestly doesn't matter. This person rolled so well. This is half for my future reference.
16, yes.
16. So basically, as you guys are all standing there, you do see like a quick shadow in this building to your left, just kind of like step out and immediately like kind of like go back in, and you hear like a few more feet moving inside. And some hushed voices.
I creep forward towards that building.
Okay.
I'm gonna fan out, go run side.
Wonderful. XigXag, you sort of are approaching the door. I assume you're sneaking.
Yeah, okay.
A voice kind of calls from there. Speaking draconic, interestingly. Saying, "Who comes to a place of death?"
Hello, we are looking for the rebels.
Sorry.
Are you a rebel? We are here to lead the revolution.
There's a brief moment, as if a voice
So there are
inside.
prophecies. Have you read the prophecies?
Basically, a voice inside is like, wait, what, what? And then a voice from the roof of that building says, "Oh, okay, wait, okay, this is, what are you talking about?" And you all glance up, and you simply see kind of the stone of this building. And then sort of stepping out from it is this figure, very sort of stout,
Straight out of the stone?
stocky, made of sandstone. She takes a few steps forward, very sort of brick-like in her nature. Peers down at all of you. "You're here to what?"
Good day, fair lady, or I should say good evening. We are here to lead the revolution against the tyrant. I'm sure there were prophecies. There had to be. I mean, that's how it happens.
How are you here?
Oh, we just came through the mist. Oh, and then we walked through the sand.
More of these brick-like creatures made of like sandstone. They appear to be like the stone itself almost coming to life, sort of walk out.
You have come out of the mist itself?
Yes.
How, and you have evaded capture?
Apparently so.
Mm-hmm.
It was meant to be, as it's in the prophecies.
And who?
What?
And
what?
who do we? have-
XigXag, go ahead and make a deception check, because you're pushing this prophecy line pretty high.
It's not deception. XigXag truly believes this. This has to be so because it's the narrative. She believes in the narrative view, which is like the
Okay.
rule of the narrative. That's how she read books. So
She
that's
has read
how
books.
it
She has
has
been
to
saying
be.
this. All right, go ahead and roll a persuasion check then.
It doesn't
I
make
would
any
imagine
difference,
it
but
won't
I
even
just wanna
matter
make
between
it-
your stats, but you want to make it very clear you're not
Yeah.
lying. Understood.
It's 18.
18. There's a certain sense of like, as the prophecies about a rebellion. What?
Who do we have the pleasure of talking to?
The sort of this brick creature on the sort of roof of this temple.
Guessing it's a brickborn.
It is, but more like sandstone born here. She sort of steps off and kind of she pulls out this whip and she just whips up into the sky and seems to wrap around nothing, and she sort of swings off of the building and kind of lands in front of all of you, and the whip kind of returns. She's
a cool
wearing
whip.
sort of a rather kind of just like simple garb, not unlike your own, but she has kind of like a hood she can pull up, and she has a kopesh sort of like curved sword on her at her side and this whip on the other side. She kind of cracks her fingers and you see like dust fly off. And she's very blocky. She's also much shorter than all of you. She's maybe 4 feet tall. You also suspect she probably outweighs any of you. She seems very sturdy. She kind of walks forward. Okay, so wait. My name is Tura.
Well, my name is XigXag. And these are my cohorts, Vanga
XigXag.
and Elan and Buku and Shishu.
Lord Buku, I'm so pleased to meet
Yeah.
you.
Okay, calm down.
Oh, you are some exotic dragonborn. I mean, these two are just gold, but let's see. Obsidian, yellow,
Dragonborn?
Electrum.
electrum. Yeah, dragonborn. You're
That's a odd
dragonborn.
term.
I
You
mean,
have-
yes,
you-
we were born dragons. Yes.
You have really picked the wrong place to come as dragonborn.
Well, we didn't come here this way.
Yeah, there was a transporter mishap.
What does this mean?
These are not our real bodies. Well, I mean, this one it's very close to his, but
Yeah, well, it's much better actually. Says Shishu.
We're not normally bipeds.
What are you normally?
how do you feel about dragons?
A couple people are like grabbing weaponry behind.
We don't like dragons much. On account of their murderous, horrible, thieving, greedy monsters.
Well, yeah, I mean,
No, we get told that a lot everywhere we're going.
Mm-hmm.
Starting to think it might be true.
But there are also good dragons who are here to lead the revolution.
There is no revolution.
Well, but there will be. There are rebels, I'm sure, right? Right?
No. How
Are
can
you
there be
sure?
rebels when your mind is controlled?
Oh, that
What are
is.
you talking about?
Well, the
sorry.
Dragonborn are created to be the slave race of dragons. And a dragon of significant power can hold complete and utter dominion over all Dragonborn.
Well,
their
that dragon
domain.
needs to be killed.
seems like
believe-
that dragon might need to be taken down a notch.
I mean,
Yep.
all dragons
Several
should
notches.
probably be killed in my experience.
Okay, that's I mean, we don't have to go quite. I mean, that's a little bit far.
Well, okay. Nevertheless, you are dragonborn from elsewhere. It would appear you've yet to be taken to the city and put under influence.
Yeah, we would like to avoid that.
Yes, you should. You should escape. Go back through the mists, I suppose. That's never really worked for me, but...
Where did you, you don't seem like you seem like you're not originally from here.
Oh, I am. We are born of the bricks of the pyramids themselves. Much magic was put into them. Many enchantments to create them as magical conduits. And so...
Conduits of what?
Arcane
And
energy, wealth.
What is their purpose?
They are meant to be a pleasing burial place.
For whom?
Love. Do you know whose domain you're in?
No. I mean, a jerk, probably.
This is High Delket.
Okay.
Okay.
It says nothing to us.
And the ruler here is the Pharaoh, Keth the Seventh.
Okay. Never heard of him.
Okay. Well, then you probably haven't heard of Sepajay.
Nope.
Nope.
Well, then, okay. Then
Look, we've been here for maybe 6 hours. Haven't really absorbed a lot of history here, other than I take it that this is a place where things used to be worshipped and then were outlawed, is sort of what I'm gathering.
You gather correctly. This is a place much abandoned, and we are left alone here.
Why is that?
Did you worship this?
No.
No.
We don't worship these petty things. This is... Well, what is really notable here is, of course, the Pit of Oshtar. Oshtar, I'm now realizing you probably don't know about Oshtar.
No, but we love to learn.
Oshtar was a deity who used to rule High Delket until was slain by...
another slain
god. Was it
god.
a good deity?
Or
a bad deity?
Very bad.
Oh, okay.
Very, very bad, yes.
So, are things better?
No,
now?
much worse, way worse,
That's
significantly
not
worse.
You.
Like
You
out of the
need a
frying
better
pan into
god.
the fire
Seriously.
type thing.
Oshtar simply wished to spread darkness and torment. What Pharaoh Keth VII is doing is much worse.
How so?
Well, it's just. I dare not even speak his horrible goals. It's just so much building. It's constant construction. He just builds and builds, and it's never enough.
And it's hard to sleep in on the weekends.
Well, not for
Or the
us. We
construction
can
is-
sleep anywhere.
Oh, I have a quick question. Do we have some water here?
As this is going on, as Chura is talking to you, there are various other of these like brick things kind of like gathering at this entrance, and they're saying a lot of stuff. When you talk about water, one of them comes over and goes,
You cannot have our water. I tell you, these are spies of the Pharaoh, and we should not let them leave here alive. Well, that's kind of maybe a good possible point. How do we know you're not spies of the Pharaoh?
How do we
Another
know
one goes,
anything about the Pharaoh?
They seem very dumb.
Yes, we are very dumb.
Well,
Also,
rude,
a bit
but-
thirsty.
not to be pedantic, but I would put it more like ignorant rather than dumb. But some people might think that those are just
I'd be dumb if that makes
synonyms.
them happy
Okay.
and not to try to kill us, because I really don't want to be starting fighting with potentially friendly things,
One of them sort of.
bipeds, even if they look weird.
We look normal. Look around you. We look to fit in here much more than. Never mind.
You
in
have a
any case,
point, yes.
One of them is over at this thing, and like somebody's like whispering to Tura. This, however, is in a language that most of you don't speak, but Elon can understand on account of a tiara that he now wears upon his head. Elon, I will, however, need you to make a perception check because they are talking kind of quietly.
Perception. 24.
A very good roll then. So with your, as you sort of listen, you hear them speaking a language that seems almost gravelly. You guys have had some interaction with like primordials and stuff. This sounds like what the air elementals talk, but it sounds like a rock version of it. Not like a rock version, but like a rock version. And as you listen, one of these things is saying like, all right, Tura, so 3 things. 1, I don't think we can trust them. 2, we should send them into the pit because maybe they can fix it, or maybe they'll die. And 3, do not tell Eldo that they're talking about prophecies. And she, back in the same language, goes, oh my god, yes. No, okay, make sure everyone has heard not to mention prophecies. Let's make Eldo, give Eldo a task to do. Just don't let Eldo out. We don't want Eldo to know about this. And then she kind of comes back to you and says,
Dragonborn, from beyond the mist. Here, at this old temple to Oshtar, there is a pit. Some of Oshtar's power still resides there, along with great treasure.
Yeah, we've heard this one before.
If you venture to this pit, perhaps you will find what you need to defeat the dragon and escape here.
Can I make an insight check?
sure,
Oh, we me too.
go ahead.
I'm not. Ugh.
We have been sent here
By
to visit.
no.
We to visit one known as Eldo.
Don't know what's going on, but I'm backing you up.
23.
You must know what you're doing.
She wasn't lying, but she was saying it more. She was less saying it in the sense of like, you might find what you need, and more of like, you might find what you need. I don't know. Not a lie. Maybe you will. I mean, there's stuff down there. But when you say you're here to speak to one called Eldo,
We're gonna die.
she
Been nice knowing you.
gives you this look, like, I'm actually gonna,
She thinks I'm really
you know
cool.
what? Go ahead and roll the deception check on that, Elon.
Okay.
Or don't. What's your modifier?
Oh no.
What's your deception modifier?
Oh boy. Hold on. Decept +5.
Okay, roll it then.
Uh-oh.
Did you roll a net 20?
24.
I rolled a 1. Yeah,
Oh.
I was trying to determine if it was even, but theoretically, it could have.
Oh,
it
and I got a
could've.
24 on it.
So basically, she just goes. She has no thought, and you even did the declination of the name out of Terran into Draconic. So like you just nailed this, and she goes.
I see you understand.
Oh. She kind of looks at her Kopesh for a second. She looks at like the 5 of you. Like, She sees the battle standard of infernal power.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go get Eldo. Oh, God.
Just looking at that Alan, but okay.
She goes
Interesting.
down, and she kind of goes and tells that one who was talking to her,
They're here for Eldo. They knew his name. And he goes, but could they have overheard? And she goes, no. The declination was right and everything.
and so he goes in, and he's also shaking his head like, okay.
He's like, should send him into the pit first. And she goes, she's like, you know what? Just bring Eldo here, and then I don't want to hear a word about it. I'm going back inside. And he goes, okay. And they walk in.
Oh no.
After about go ahead. You guys are just out there alone. There's like a couple looking from the doorway. Also, that white light kind of like recedes, and suddenly it's dark again.
I'm gonna say in Sylvan. I'm basically gonna say like, I just overheard them, or like, no, I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna say, oh wait. I'm going to message them individually.
Okay.
Which
and
will light it up again, right?
It actually will light it up, but that's fine.
That's fine. I mean, like,
it's better lighting with it on anyway. Yeah.
I'm basically just gonna be I'm just gonna fill them in on like, I overheard. I have no idea if this is a horrible idea. I also don't think that this pit is. I mean, this is basically like a worse version of what we just did, where we went into a pit of a dead god with the promise of treasure.
Suddenly, a brickborn comes out, like wearing a robe. Kind of looks a little like a little like, I don't know, just like less intimidating of a brick. He looks like the worst brick from the batch. He's like a little like crumbled on the edges. But he comes out and he's got like 6 scrolls in his hand, and his face, which stretches his entire body width, is just like this like grin. And he's like, hello? Yeah? Hello?
Greetings.
Oh, greetings. Oh my God. Wow. I hear that I was summoned by name. You knew of me? Oh, hold on. He just starts setting scrolls down on the ground. You knew of me?
We knew of you, yes.
Oh!
Sent from.
Yes, we are here to read the revolution. There must be prophecies.
Do you mean you're here? Do you mean you're here to uproot?
That is what.
Yes, definitely.
The uprooting?
That is one. Yeah, that is one interpretation.
Oh, okay. But wait, what's the other interpretation? Should I go to Nicodemus?
No.
No. I knew this was all wrong. Oh, this is so exciting.
We got the crazy big bone.
I'm gonna look over to our religious expert here.
I just oh boy. So just so we're clear of your expectations here and your interpretations. Explain the uprooting that you have.
So I was in your prophecy as the one who interpreted the prophecies, kind of like almost like a prophet myself, and I'm the one who's explaining the prophecies to those who will fulfill the uprooting.
We are here to validate.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. So, all right. Well, all right. So the uprooting is, and then 5 shall come, like the one, not in form but in spirit, and they shall tear his roots out. And then plentiful shall be the plants upon the river,
So
That sounds pretty good.
there's 5 of you.
Yeah.
So I'm
good.
assuming that you are all dragons.
Yes.
That would be
Yeah.
correct. Yeah.
Oh, you are really smart.
Yes. So you are dragons, and you are here to kill the pharaoh, so that plants will grow upon the river, and there will be a time of peace again. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Ha!
And he just walks back into he like turns around from you guys and just walks back into his little thing. And he just starts shouting, I was right, they are dragons in disguise. They are dragons in disguise. It is this prophecy. You have all heard me talk about this prophecy. And the other ones are like, I've literally never heard you say that before. What are you talking about? It's like, no, you've all heard me talk about this one. This is a thing. I said I was using a different term. I thought that they would be scarabs in disguise, but now I say, okay, so you were wrong. No, I was right. I was right.
The prophecies are many and complex. It is not uncommon for them to be misinterpreted.
I wasn't misinterpreted. It's open.
The meanings within them, there are wheels within wheels.
There's a prophecy about wheels within wheels. Yes. And lo, when the 4th wheel is within the 5th wheel.
And I'm sure, though, that you have that within your prophecies is written those that come to aid of the 5 and what must be done. Yes?
So your prophecy spoke of aid to the 5.
Yes.
Well,
Of the uprooting.
we have found ourselves diminished, not in our true forms. And we are still powerful.
Wait, you're diminished, not in your true forms?
Well, we are not in dragon form.
Oh, maybe I need to go. So you are not. This is not by choice?
Correct.
Oh, I need to go back to the Nicodemus. Nicodemus might have been right after all. Forget what I said about Nicodemus being wrong. Okay. And lo, when only the kiss of a princess can return the frog back into a prince. And
I think
cold-blooded.
Nicodemus might have been. I think Nicodemus might have been wrong. I think.
Yeah, that I don't think the.
But there are
princess
many
was.
ways to interpret. I think that you are like frogs. So, and Shishu goes, I guess 2 of us could kiss. I mean, I don't know. I'm really just running with this minor detail from last session.
Well, I was thinking more along the lines of.
So,
maybe,
Anna, you guys are engaged.
Yeah,
Welcome
a
back.
lot happens when you visit this cave. You come back, you got a family.
Actually, usually not a lot. Well, actually, that's not true. I missed, and then you guys went real off the rails without me around.
Yeah. Oh, is that right? Is that that's why we're in the domain of dread right now? Is that right?
In any case, yeah, Elon's like, I washed my hands of this. Not my fault at all.
But I will say, like, I was thinking more, rather than like any sort of like transmutation of us. I think it is important that we are here in the forms that we are. Right? We need to inspire those in these forms, right? To break free of their free. Otherwise, there will not be peace.
But the point is,
I was thinking more of along the lines of something like this, and I'll pull out the shard of the Ise rune. Things more like along this nature, something that may have some vestiges of magic still within it.
This is why you've come to me. Okay, hold
Indeed.
on. Hold on. Guys, I didn't even hold on. He goes back into the room and he comes back and says, okay, now.
Don't you think we should be in big fucking dragon form? I don't want to walk around like this anymore.
Elon, I don't think there's a princess that can kiss us and turn us
You
back
don't
into
know
dragons.
that!
I mean, should I try? I can just, I can start with, I don't know.
Enough.
Verdugo or-
She just enough.
Well, fine.
You're not a
whatever.
princess.
Wow. Well, I have numerous handles for my finstas that would disagree with that. In any case, Eldo comes back out and he's got these other scrolls and he goes, okay, now I want to apologize up front. Some of these are a little iffy. If you're looking for magic, though, there are a great many magical things still in the pit. And then, of course, there's much treasure in all the pyramids. But, here's the thing. Okay.
What's... There's a catch, isn't there?
Well, no. I mean, yes, well, you'll have to defeat whatever's down there. But, okay, there is a magic in here that's written about. And he kind of holds up a page to you. And it's written in these hieroglyphics. And comprehend language, if you touch something, you can read it. Is that correct? So actually, if you grab it, you'll be able to interpret this.
Okay, so I say, hand over the relic to me.
Of course. Ignore the marginalia. Some of it was drawn by someone else. That wasn't me.
What does the marginalia read?
It's kind of just like, I don't know. It's some like drawings of like bricks humping, I guess. Actually, to put it into the parlance.
There's a lot of mortar. There's a
lot of like mortar spewing everywhere. This is wrong.
There's like a whole Thisbe thing going on.
To put it into the terms that our Brickborn in our Friday game Zane used, it's a lot of brick smashing because bricks get smashed. Okay. In any case, but what you read in this section, Elon, is a description of some of the magic of the eyes of Oshtar. They are... The eyes of Oshtar appear to be some sort of like dark undead priests of this old god Oshtar, and they developed a pool. A creature who goes into this pool becomes immune to being charmed. No creature can dominate its mind.
And I say, yes.
And he's basically indicating, like, this is how you guys might be able to prevent.
I'm gonna, I mean, if it's all right, I'd like to hold up my hand to stop him from talking. And I'm just going to say, yes. The eyes of Oshtar. Who shall lead us to this pool?
So now the prophecy is that you all will go to the pool. So this isn't in my prophecies. This is just in my research on Oshtar. But let me do some reading, and I'm now gonna have him roll This is just an idiocy roll. This is not even a. This is just like he has no modifier to his prophecies. I'm just rolling a d20. Rolls really high though. Okay, and so in this case, what high means is not that he's finding something that is objectively true in the prophecies. He is coming to the most logical conclusion and then finding support from it in various weird prophecies.
As
so
you
he
do
leads
with
you.
Love it. No, I love it.
He
Yes,
leads you on this long thing. Goes, yes, and then one who leads shall lead those who shall be led. And a diver from Chura will lead you. Chura is a great explorer.
Wonderful.
Where is Chura? And a couple of the brickboard at the door just start laughing. They're like, yeah, right. Yes, Chura will lead you. Tell her it is in the text. She does not listen to me. She has actually asked me never to speak to her again. But it's in the text.
I just want to be clear. You're cool with her, right? Like, you're not, like, bugging her when she says... You took a hint, yeah? I just want to be very clear about this.
Yes. Like I said, I didn't make those drawings. And it's not us.
I'm going to walk over to one of the laughing ones.
Mm-hmm. Oh shit, what's coming? He's got like a spear, kind of just like...
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to... Who is this Tura?
So you would even remember this. Tura is the main one who was talking to you.
Is the main one.
She swung down, and now she's gone inside. Yeah, she's like, yeah. I'm not anything. She was very upset that you said Eldo. She's very upset there's anything to his prophecies. She gone inside. And now this guard one's like...
I say, go fetch Tura, please.
Yeah, okay.
Meanwhile, I
He
would
just
like
goes
to
back.
thank Aldo, and I would like to lick him.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Of course, I'm not really a dragon anymore, but I'm just into this habit.
Yeah, he kind of like waddles over to you and sticks out this just like rocky tongue. This kind of it really just seems like an igneous rock, you know, like very like porous, and just kind of scrapes that against your scales.
Sure.
I wish to honor
Okay.
customs. There's a prophecy about tongues, and he says this. At which point, Shishu and Lord Buku back the fuck up.
What is actually?
Yes.
While we wait, tell me. I want to know more about that prophecy of tongues.
Oh, the prophecy of tongues. Okay, well, I will preface this.
Does it speak of an wait? Does it speak of an usher?
You have seen it. Okay. Well, before today, this is the if I'd had to put my life on it, this is the only prophecy I would have said that I thought was true because it's so specific.
And
I have to look this up because we haven't talked about the usher tongue in a while. Oh, cause
let's pull the thread here.
yes, there is. Here it is. He'll just let you read it if you'd like to read it, you know.
Yes.
You can do so. And at the end of all things, the usher will seat the Lord of Death and will lick him, and no one will know anything again.
That's it.
You are correct. That is very specific.
Yes, and the Lord of Death is not. It is not ambiguous because if you look here in the line,
I
before,
understand.
It
I know.
identifies the Lord of Death as Kuth-Golem.
That's enough. That's enough, Aldo.
This is how the universe will end.
Yes.
Oh.
You may sit down.
Oh, he just sits immediately, just into the sand. I will say, Elon, why don't you make an Arcana check?
Okay. Oh no, horrible. So bad. I'm so dumb. 1. I'm gonna have to pick up Arcana at some point.
Yeah, we gotta give you Arcana. We gotta give you a feed or you gotta grab that one way or another, or some downtime training.
Yeah.
So,
I'm so
you have no sense of whether or not there's any magical accuracy to this as far as what this refers to stuff. I will certainly say, because were you present for the Usher Tongue story?
when
they found the dream journal of the Usher Tongue?
Yes, I have a picture of the two of them, a drawing of
That's
Buku
right.
and
You
Alan
were
being all
Scooby-Dooing.
scared together.
So-
Oh, yeah,
Oh yeah,
Alana-
you know, I
Alana
read
saved
it.
that.
I read it with him, and it didn't scare me. That's
It
right.
did not scare you. I will say,
right.
okay, then I will say in that case, reading it here, it is not, you're not scared of it, but this is upsetting. This is really reminding you of some stuff in that Lich's dream journal. This is feeling like you have no sense of the magical whatever stuff, you have no sense of that stuff, but just as far as the fact that you actually read it, this is too close to comfort for what you read in that thing on a far distant plane. There's a true accuracy to it.
Yeah. Well, I think that's great. Where is the guide?
Do you want If I can stand, I will go and check.
No.
You just stay
No,
sitting.
it's better. It's better for you sit. It's a position of power.
Okay. He tries to like sit powerfully. Tura comes out, and Tura's face is unchanged in color because she's a brick, but she kind of just.
Now she's the red brick.
Yeah, she's blushing into red brick. Tura sort of.
Tura, I think that your idea of venturing into the pit is a sound one.
Oh, good. The prophecy said you were going to go.
Yes,
So
and you shall be.
Eldo,
you will
does this
be.
mean I'm a prophet too? Because I said they would do that. No. Okay.
Tura,
Yes.
you may take us to the pool of the eyes of
Oshtar?
Oshtar.
Yes, the prophecy said you will lead us.
No, I'm not in the prophecy. I can't be. I make my own
Yes.
future. Eldo just looks up.
None
No,
of us do.
none of us make our own.
No. No, free will.
Free will is a dream, fantasy.
I would like all three of you, if you're trying to convince her of this, please make a group persuasion check. How about that? Elon, you can have advantage from your boy.
This is now that Thungard should cross.
That feels good.
You have advantage, Elon.
I know I didn't roll great either one. And I'm so good at persuasion too. 17.
It's certainly not bad. Tongart?
10.
10. XigXag, did you roll as well?
14.
14. Based on the situation, she says, I'll take you to the pit. I'll take you in there, but I'm not going in there just because Eldo is the weirdest of the Brickborn. Do you understand me? He's the weirdest one. I mean, look at him. And Eldo's like,
And I'm gonna look.
He
I'm gonna
is
look.
the wisest, obviously.
I'm gonna look right in her brick eyes, and I'm gonna be like, I know.
I'll take you part of the way. I'm not going all the way down.
You may take us to the pit, and then you can lead us back.
Well, the pit is very nearby, but I'll if you said I'll take you to part of it, but I'm not going into the fine, just this way. And she kind of just goes and gathers up a couple things, and Eldo's like, and it also says in the prophecy that if you
don't
survive,
let it go to your head.
It does say it in the prophecy. Or it could say it in the prophecy.
Read the room, Eldo.
We're outside.
Read the
Don't
room.
be rude to Aldo, come on.
Do I need to stay sitting here the whole time?
No,
you're
you may
down
get
there?
up.
Okay. Eldo gets up.
I do have a task for you though.
Oh yes, of course.
I want you to look. I want you to cross-reference.
Yes,
I'm
very good at that.
I know you are.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to look up any more leads about things that would give us power or.
But uprooting.
Mm-hmm.
How to do that?
Yes.
Okay, you want to know which pyramids hold the greatest weapons and
Oh yes,
items.
that's a good idea.
Yes.
Okay, I can help you with this.
Wonderful. You all have done us a great service, and we have hope yet of making the relieving some of the dread of this God-forsaken place.
Okay.
And I just sort of yeah, and I sort of just walk off. Before I go though, were in any of those scrolls,
Mhm.
were there any were there any drawings or imagery of like any sort of main characters or?
So you have not like read through all the scrolls by any means. You kind of only looking at the areas.
Right.
If you want to take some time to look it over before you go down.
No, that's fine.
Cool. Yeah, yeah. You didn't like notice, and it also this is the thing where, like you really have to be almost like you almost have to like touch each glyph to sort of understand because it is so hieroglyphic and you've got to go. Exactly. So in that case, Tura is ready to take you to the Pit of Oshtar. Eldo will continue looking through what records he has of the pyramids to tell you where powerful things are. That's a great thing to ask him, because that means I will roll up some big ticket items ahead of time, and he can tell you which pyramids you can go to and where they are.
Shopping,
so that's
supermarket
fun.
sweep.
It's fun because it's not shopping. You have to go fight stuff. But you can be like, cool, here's the weaponry we'll acquire. Because remember, suddenly, you guys want magic weapons and magic armor and magic items because you can physically use them in,
Mm-hmm. It's a twofer.
Yeah, your horde is also useful in these forms. So I think we're actually going to end our session there. Very good. That was productive in some ways.
It was very productive.
And I got to tell you... I'll peek behind the curtain. I didn't know that Eldo was going to exist. Now Eldo exists.
Eldo's the best.
And,
Eldo is my
we
favorite.
love Eldo.
Eldo's the new Legag. We're gonna adopt.
You're parachuting Eldo out with you here, I imagine. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Eldo's got the golden ticket here. We're gonna pair him. We'll pair him up with the bully dude that we have somewhere.
Yeah, for sure. Kawulog who went off with oh my god. Well, that was delightful. Thank you all so much for that. You are in not a terrible situation, all told. You didn't get into a fight with them, which I was ready for, so that was good. I love the just insistence on a revolution. That was great. We're here to start the revolution from the prophecy. What?
Amazing.
It's
so good.
Planet. Obviously, this is Dune, and we are the chosen one. I mean, this is just
one of us is Paul Atreides. That's amazing. Well, everyone, thank you so much for watching. This game is always a delight. I know we were slightly less than is ideal for a Dragonborn party, but we're right where we should be for a dragon party, and you guys are still dragons at heart. But thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoy what we do here, please follow us or subscribe. You can use your free Amazon Prime subscription. If you link your Prime account to your Twitch, you get a free one. Give that to us or give it to somebody, because you got it and it should go somewhere. We appreciate all the support of that stuff. If you like what we do, we have several other shows. On Mondays, we have Temple Flight, which is a superhero game. Some things are going on in that. We didn't play last week due to various reasons, so I'll remember what was going on in that game before last night. Let me tell you, before tomorrow night. I mean, I can't think. And then on Tuesday we have another session of Gray in the Dark, one of our two noir games currently going on. The other being the horror noir game, Blood from a Stone, on Fridays. All those games I just mentioned are at 7:30 Pacific time on Twitch. So check those out. We have a lot of fun stuff going on. And then we have these two noir games because, once again, I will mention our Kickstarter, which funded today. So we have this noir compendium that we're going to be putting out. Should be coming out this summer sometime. And we're going to be having just all sorts of like noir player options. The Brickborn, who were in today's session, are actually from that book. They're more thought of as kind of like red brick people from a city, but as you can see, they can also be born of pyramids. So that is.
I have a feeling that our guide may also be a class from there, given now that she is an explorer, and that is one of the classes.
She's a brickboard explorer.
Whip.
And there's something that I think is very appropriate about, like, I'm a person built of pyramids, and I explore pyramids to learn about my own history. She's a less problematic kind of explorer, so that's always nice.
She's really delving within.
She's look at it. So in any case, that's nice. So yeah, please go to our Kickstarter, spread that around to people. You can of course back that and get the book because now it's definitely happening. So that's exciting. Would anybody like to plug any other things they're doing or up to?
Sure. On Tuesdays at 5 p.m. Pacific, come watch me stream. We're streaming Disco Elysium, a very interesting role-playing game where you have conversations with your clothes, and you're a cop who has a tenuous handle on reality. It's extraordinarily well written, and we have a lot of fun. That's Tuesdays at 5 o'clock here on Twitch at Andrew is Trying. You can look right below in the About section and follow me right now.
Absolutely, a great thing to do. It is also good. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's good to be trying. Got to respect people who try.
I mean, that's the best I can do.
That's my whole thing.
That's the best that any of us can
Come
do.
on. Yoda wouldn't approve, but I'm fine with it.
Well, that's actually a nice thing into what I was just say, which is check out the Dr. Aphra audio drama. It's real good. And Dr. Aphra is an interesting character that doesn't really exist in the Star Wars universe normally. Has some weird areas of gray that she's operating in. And it's a very well done little thing. It's like 5 hours of your time to have a fun little story. So that's what I'll plug. I have nothing to do with it. It's just good.
There you go. Vanda, do you want to plug something that's good? Any TV shows you want people to watch?
After Party, check it out on Apple TV.
I'll second that. After Party is real fun. It's a genre hopping from Christopher Miller of Lord and Miller. Yeah, it's a fun one. I'll second that. Any other shows? I said Severance.
Yes.
Severance. Mrs. Maisel's back. That's really like
is it
on.
Back?
It's back. Yeah, it's new season. 2 episodes
New
out.
season?
Yeah, new season started at that.
Disenchanted has a new season too. Disenchantment.
Disenchantment also had a new season.
Netflix.
We can't all Mansukas this, or then it's just chaos.
I think it's fine. Whatever. Now I switch the category to just chatting, and we get into some shows we're binging. It's called The Binge Watch, a new podcast about shows we're binging. It's literally a podcast where people say the name of shows. They don't talk about them. Everyone just goes, who's watching this? And everyone's like, I'm watching that. Me too. Oh, speaking of that, are you watching this? No one goes into anything because there's so damn much content now that no one can watch all of it.
And yet there is nothing to watch.
And yet exactly.
So thanks for watching ours.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, also thanks for watching ours. When all this other stuff is out there, you've chosen to spend your time here, and it's much appreciated. And on that note, I'm going to say, for the first and hopefully for one of very few times on this night of Sundays for this game, thank you for watching. Roar well, and have a dreadful night.
Ah.
Oh.
Bye, everybody.